What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, I'm in a t-shirt right now because it is a lovely 68 degrees outside right now. In typical Texas fashion, we'll have melty, freezing snow a few days ago, and then now it's all gone and evaporated, but it's just really windy today. Waiting on Aubrey to get out of a meeting because we're gonna go take a look at a car that we have not been able to get our hands on, even though we've really wanted one for our fleet for some time. Everyone always asks me, why a fanny pack? I'll show you why. Always room for activities in here. Got the money in here. Got my paper towel that I'm gonna check fluids with. Close that bad boy up. If I can. Now we just gotta wait for Aubrey. Now we told the guy we're gonna meet him at 4. We're gonna be about 10 minutes late. So I gotta message him now because he said that there's enough people messaging him and he wants to hold it for us at least until we can get there to take a look at it. But we've already agreed on a price, so he better hold it.
1 hour later.
Oh, okay. Finally.
I'm ready.
Let's go. Oh, the emergency brake.
So HP&I's goal is to get to 35 cars by the end of the year. Currently we're at 22, which means that we need to buy 13 more, and that doesn't even take into account the fact that we will inevitably run into a total loss at some point in time. So we'll probably have to buy more, like 14 or 15 more between now and the end of 2023.
Now we held off on buying cars all month of January because we wanted to make sure we catch up with all of our maintenance on all of our cars and we have a good baseline to start with. But we're resuming with this car this month. We're getting burned by a Prius and I don't even think he knows we're racing. Just trying to keep up. HP and I are very excited to check out because number one, it's one that we've always wanted to add to our fleet, but we've always had trouble finding one for a below market value price. And number two, it's a car that both of us have a lot of experience with. This car is actually the very same car that I started driving in whenever I was 16 years old, whenever I got my license for the very first time. And how did you drive it? I drove it because I used to do Sears driving school when I learned how to drive, and this was one of the cars that they let us use to learn how to pretty much drive on the road for the first time. So it's like 15. I drove a lot of that car.
So hopefully everything works out on the test drive. The car looks good. We of course did check the title and everything was clean. It's being sold for below market value. So all we need to do is test drive it, examine it in person, and let's cross our fingers that everything goes well. Hi, nice to meet you.
Gotcha. I just buy cars. Right there with you. That actually sounds like us. My wife, same thing. She calls the shots. I make the money. She makes the money. She still calls the shots.
Same thing. She does the same thing.
I wasn't sure where that was going.
Deal with anybody else? Sign all the papers for you. I gave you your CD back.
I see what you're saying. I can do $6,750 for this thing.
All right.
So that's what.
That sounds good. I'll do that. I appreciate that. Thank you for being
honest.
Awesome. All right. Well, here's the keys. Do you have the title?
Yeah, I do have the title. So how do you do like?
Hey girl, how many miles per gallon you get in that thing?
And let us officially introduce the 23rd car to our car sharing fleet, our new to us 2011 Honda Civic. HP, why don't you give us a tour?
So I know what you might be thinking, a Honda Civic, what's so special about that? Well, try finding a Honda Civic that doesn't get bought up or costs like $13,000 for no reason. But take a look at the inside of this thing. We just bought this thing, we literally just drove it here, and it is immaculate on the inside. No rips or tears in the seats, maybe a little dirty, but nothing a good cleaning can take care of. The inside, everything is completely functional. Ignore the missing sun visor. I got some money off of that, but I think this is going to be a really good performer on Turo.
Now this car is pretty basic. It is a 2011 and it isn't the most decked out trim for the year or the model, but it has most of the things that you would want from a more modern car. It has automatic locks, automatic windows, a nice radio, a really nice, very visible speedometer, and it also has auxiliary port as well, which makes it a perfect contender for Turo.
I found a penny.
And we just got some ROI.
The back seat is super, super clean as well. Again, I don't really love these seats. Like, something about these seats I think make them look really old. It like reminds me of my grandpa's car from the 90s.
Yeah.
But they're super clean. It's just the material that I don't love.
Yeah, the material is kind of weird. This is the true definition of cloth seats because even the pattern just feels weird. It's like corduroy. That's really nice in here. Plus, take a look. It's actually a decent amount of room on the inside. It's actually not bad considering this is just a little four-door cookie-cutter car.
So plenty of space, a nice clean interior, but let's move on to the exterior.
So the outside of this car is actually really good looking. It was involved in a minor collision in the front, and you can tell because it actually has these brand new looking headlights. Happened about 2 years ago. And another thing we noticed is that it's missing some moldings on the inside of the windshield, which means you can see those brackets, and it's not the most appealing, but I'm gonna go ahead and find those and replace those just because I wanna make sure the car doesn't look incomplete. As far as the outside goes, everything else is pretty good. Yes, definitely some serious dents and dings on the side.
I would not say those are serious.
It looks like it's been hit 30 times in that same area, but that it's nothing like it's dented on the inside, just some dings.
I would have to hardcore dispute HP on that one. Definitely some dings. Definitely looks like something happened here, but dents, this is smooth.
As far as the paint goes, it's actually really good condition, except for maybe the trunk area, it's a little faded, and even on the roof. But other than that, the paint is like a 9 out of 10, I'd say. Now, as far as the side of the driver's side goes, looks pretty good too. Dents, dings, and scratches, but that's pretty typical of what you're gonna find for a car that's coming up on 12 years old. Maybe even a little bit on the mirror too. The tires are actually in really good condition as well. That's a really big thing because if I have to replace 4 tires on a car, it typically means I'm about to spend at least $400 for a set of 4 new tires. So one less thing to worry about on this car. When everyone thinks of a reliable car, 2 brands come to mind, both Toyota and Honda. Now, we favor Toyota a lot because we have experience with Toyotas, and you can never find a Honda Civic like this for a cheap price. The same reason why you can't find a Toyota Camry for a cheap price. Everyone knows them to be the cookie cutter car.
Everybody wants a reliable car, and because of that, they have a Honda, they have a Toyota, and because they have the reputation of really holding their value, they are extremely expensive to buy. I feel like Kelly Blue Book value aside, I feel like Toyota Camrys and like those types of Toyotas and Honda Accords, Honda Civics are the most overpriced, like normal everyday cars for sale.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Now this car is a 2011 Honda Civic. It's a 2-owner car. It of course has a clean Carfax and it has 108,000 miles, and we purchased it for $6,700. Whenever we looked up the KBB value for this car, it had a KBB value of between $7,500 and $8,000. And so I think this was a real steal of a deal.
Now this car isn't perfect by any means. It is missing a couple of things, like for one, the driver's side sun visor has been ripped off completely. It needs the moldings for the windshield, and lastly, the speedometer, that is the digital one on top, is a little flickery on a couple of the lights, and the only fix for that is to replace it. So we were able to talk them down from $7,500 all the way down to $6,700, which is a pretty big win and should cover all the price of those parts in my time to replace it.
Now I know that I am just thrilled to have this car as the 23rd car in our fleet. Now, like HP mentioned, it does have some things that need to get fixed on it. It needs to be cleaned. We have to take photos of it. So it will take probably a week or so to get this car listed on Turo, maybe 2 weeks. But once it is listed, I think it can be rented for between $35 and $40 per day. But I will have to do some research since this is our very first Honda Civic ever.
But guys, as always, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And we'll see you in the next episode.